There we are. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hold on a second. Before we get started, I have to give a quick text to Heather because I do not have an egg count. All right. Okay. Anyway, good evening. I hope everybody's doing well. We had a really I know I talked about it in my video earlier today, but we had a absolutely wild storm come through here last night. It was really, really cool. I love storms, always have. I think they're really cool. And love lightning and the thunder and all that. I just always have liked that. I just think it is the coolest thing. So it was an interesting storm. The winds were kicking too. It was pretty wild, pretty wild. So, all right. Before we jump into everything here, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. Uh, that I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we're not going to tolerate that. Okay. You should do a video of a thunderstorm. That would be cool, I think. Yeah. I could probably do that one. But it's usually obviously it's at night and it's dark. But I'd maybe catch the lightning flashes and stuff. That would be kind of neat. But I bought a box of cheeses today at the grocery store. I wonder why. Oh, free advertising. So, anyway, it's not product placement, just so you guys know. Okay, Heather just gave me the lowdown. All right. So, anyway, all right. So let's get into this. I read an article today, guys, that was put out by the White House. All right, and I'm just like, how stupid, realistically, how stupid do these people think we are? So, um, Ed, you would not enjoy storms where lightning burns houses. No, this is true, Terrence Parker Jr. That is very true. Uh, so, article was put out by the White House today, and I just wonder how stupid that they think that we all are. So, first of all, the inflation thing numbers came in, and they said for the estimate was going to be 8.8 for June. It ended up being 9.1, and that was much higher than they expected. 40-year high. So not a good thing at all, right? So what does the White House come out with? They come out with two things, right? So first of all, they're like, well, those numbers that really doesn't matter because gas prices have come down by 40 cents a gallon, and so those numbers, are not accurate. Well, they're not accurate because everything is skewed anyway, in my humble opinion. I'm not saying, not trying to give false information, but I don't think that those numbers are ever as accurate as they should be, because they definitely don't want to make things look as bad as they actually are. But here's what they had to say with the press release. And I had to laugh at this one. I really did. So it said, under under President Biden's leadership, gas has come down 40 cents a gallon, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, let me just do the math on this. So we went from $5 a gallon, right? $5 a gallon. Now, here in West Virginia, it's 4.63 a gallon, so that's 37 cents. But we're hashing out errors. But if I remember correctly, when Biden got into office, gas was 2.20 a gallon in upstate New York. I think it was 2.22 a gallon in upstate New York. So even if gas has come down 40 cents a gallon, it's still $2 and what $2 and like 20 cents or 30 cents more than it was when he took office. So where's that leadership? What leadership, right? The whole thing, it amazes me. Um, it just, I'm like, do these people really truly believe that we are that stupid? I think that they do. Um, you know, there's no leadership there. He basically, if you guys remember, in one of his speeches, He said, we're going to have to learn to live with higher gas prices. And of course, well, who do we blame that all on? Of course, we have to blame that on Putin, because heaven forbid that you take personal responsibility for your direct actions and your direct policies uh, for causing the problems that we have right now. Jen Boyle said, but most people are that stupid. Yeah, you know what? I can't disagree. I can't disagree. A lot of them, they just, whatever's put out, yeah, it's got to be Trump's fault. Right, exactly. Everything's Trump's fault. It's just, it amazes me. It really, truly amazes me. But fuzzy math, yeah, I was just, well, you figure, okay, so let's go. Well, let's do the real math. So what, 240, 240 a gallon more, 260 a gallon more in that range. No, it's 240 because it was 220. Yeah, so 240 a gallon more than when he took office. That's with the reduction of 40 cents. So he did it up to what, 260 more a gallon, or 280 actually, 280. So, but that doesn't count, because he stopped the drilling, shut the pipeline construction down, and it would have taken a while for that pipeline construction to get done, but it would have gotten done. So 469 here last Thursday here for gas. Okay, yeah, I mean they're saying 40 cents a gallon. I'm not seeing 40 cents a gallon. That's just that's just my take on it. But and when I get back up to New York, I'll have to see what it's doing up there too. But it's whatever the case may be, it is ridiculously expensive for gas, ridiculously expensive. So, and like I said, for the folks over in Europe that would love to have $5 a gallon gas, you guys are getting screwed big time too, big time. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about this one too, and I want you to think about this. Okay, this is out in Nevada. We're going to talk about Nevada for a second. And I'm not bashing on Nevada. I'm just sharing information that was put out there. So in Nevada, some advocates made housing for homeless people. So it's basically little shacks, got a door on it. They can go in and they can have, you know, it gets started on the food prices. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll talk about that too. So they have these homeless places where the homeless can go and they can live, right? And so some advocates of the homeless had built these. Well, Nevada is destroying them. Yeah, isn't that nice? So screw you, homeless people. We don't care about you. We don't care about people that are suffering or having a hard time and things. We're going to go ahead and destroy these these small buildings for whatever reason, and I'm not sure what their logic was. I didn't read all of that part of it, but I just saw that they had were destroying these little encampments, and they were nice little places that were built. It wasn't like it was a shack or a tent. It was little basically, where one person can go in and sleep and have their own little privacy. But we can't help them. But yet, at our southern border, we have thousands of people streaming across the border every day. Every day. Texas got a second warning in 3 days to conserve power from 2 to 9 p.m. We're going to talk about that too, Billy the Kid. Now, Texas has its own power grid. Own power grid. Okay? So there's three grids. There's the western grid, there's the eastern grid, and then Texas has its own power grid. So things are so bad with the heat and everything like that that Texas is asking their people to conserve power because they're going to do rolling blackouts and stuff like that otherwise. And so you're going to be without power in 100-degree temperatures day after day. I just spoke with Ronnie, one of my group members, yesterday, and he's down in Texas right now. And I think he said it was 105 degrees where he's at in Texas. So you know, let's talk about power plants for a second, right? Let's talk about Lake Mead and the water levels and the Hoover Dam and the water levels getting so low that there's a possibility that they're not going to be able to produce the power that they normally do or need because the water is too low. They probably never anticipated that happening. And so, yeah, and sending all our strategic oil to Europe, yeah, and China. I'm going to tell you what, Europe's going to be in big, big trouble come this winter. That's another thing I wanted. There's a whole bunch of things I want to talk about, but it all comes down to the fact that things are getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, I wonder if they found Hoff in Lake Mead. Now he's in New Jersey someplace, isn't he? That's what they said in the stadium, buried under there somewhere. He's buried somewhere. I don't think anybody's ever going to find Jimmy Hoffa. But uh, but anyway, so you have what was that? Oh, so I was talking about Europe and stuff like that. If China or not, if Russia doesn't, if they keep doing these sanctions and stuff with Russia, they're going to be really hurting unless they kind of figure something else out in the meantime. Which where are you going to get that oil from and stuff like that? So yeah, it's going to be. This, I'm telling you what. You think now is bad? If you think now is bad, just wait to this winter. I think this winter is going to be an eye opener for a lot of people. There's so many things going on. So it's not a matter of just one thing that's causing problems. It's a bunch of things that are causing problems. So one of the things that we have going on, especially out west, is severe drought. Everybody knows it. It's not like it's a new thing that anybody's talking about. But what they're not talking about a lot is the thousands upon thousands of acres that the farmers out there have had to let go to seed, which means they're not planting, they're not putting in crops, they don't have the water to be able to support them. When you have an issue with the wheat where the wheat is not doing well, they will not even bother harvesting some of those wheat fields because it's not cost effective at this time to do so. I mean, think about that. Think about that aspect of it, okay? You're right. And so many are walking around like it's 2019 this summer. Yeah, yeah. It's just everything's back to normal. Everything's wonderful. We don't have to wear masks. We can go ahead and live our lives, And I think that's it's going to be a rude awakening for people. Really rude awakening. And like I said, I there's so many. Like I said, it's not a matter. And I know I talked about this in another video, and I said that I believe we're on that downward slope, and it's things are getting worse and worse and worse. So it's not like just one thing; it's a accumulation of a lot of things, and so the drought is definitely part of it. And oh, and remember something else right now: we just started hurricane season, so and they're predicting that we're going to have more, another very active hurricane season because of El Nino, and so that should be interesting. How many major hurricanes are we going to have, and how bad are things going to get? So I was talking to a nurse at my motorcycle training, and they are still sort of expecting things to resurface in cold and flu season uh, for the next one in the fall and winter of 2022. Oh, I that won't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me at all if things get really bad this fall and winter, because flu season, regardless of whatever you have been told, it happens every year. Flu season happens every year. So there is a virus that will come out and people will get sick. A lot of the compromised people will die. That happens every year. That's been going on for a long time, you know. And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens moving forward, how they handle things, what they think that they can get away with. I think a lot of people are beyond over with everything that has been done, and they're not going to allow it to happen again. I'm not saying that they're not going to. I just think that there's a lot of people out there that have had enough, just have had enough, and so who knows? Who knows? Yes, I heard that too, Jen Boyle. She said that the variants are mostly affecting those that got this. So, so here's what amazes me. You have somebody like Fauci, right? Um, has had all of these and all that type of stuff, and yet he still got it. Um, I find that really interesting. you know, but I'm sure it's just a breakthrough case. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure that's what they'll tell you what it was. I just, the reality is this: viruses are going to come every year. People are going to get sick every year. Some people are going to die every year. Some healthy people are going to die every year. Okay. But the reality is, those type of viruses that come through, that have been coming through forever and a day, um, they, you know, the sick, the weak, the compromised, they've been affected by this for years and years and years and years. This is really nothing new. The only thing new is, well, I'll just say there's a, again, in my humble opinion, and I'm not saying that this is locked in stone. I'm just, putting out my thought. There's a huge fear campaign that has gone on for a while, and it was very, very effective. We know it was very, very effective because you had a lot of people that did what they were told. It amazes me. What amazes me more than anything else, I'll be honest with you, all right, amazes me more than anything else is because of recommendations by the government, and then you throw in their mandates, right? Mandates aren't laws, folks. Just because they mandate you to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. You have a choice. So, but they also know that when they make a mandate, that the majority of people will comply with said mandate. Here's something that I want you all to think about. I want you to think about this very, very strongly, okay? You look at the number of healthcare professionals that said absolutely not. Okay, the number of healthcare professionals that walked away from jobs, went ahead and let themselves be fired because they would not comply with a mandate or an order that they had to do something, right? That alone should tell you something. And if it doesn't, then you go ahead and get in line and do what you're told because there is no hope for you. But, just, and like I said, all I'm doing is I'm sharing information. As you guys know, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for over 30 years. There was no way in any circumstances where I was going to get that, and I haven't, and I won't, and that's kind of where I'm at with that. But that is what it is. Ooh, we got 451 in the chat. We got 163 thumbs up. Um, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I want to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and I appreciate that ahead of time. It really does make a difference with the algorithm as well, and that really helps as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. But all right, so thank you very much ahead of time for that. So yeah, we're in a weird cycle of stuff. The weather has been bizarre. We're a lot more extreme weather events happening. Um, yeah, I'm not endorsing Cheetos. I know they're all, or the Cheez-Its. They're just, that's where the spot where they got put. So, yeah, I like them though. So I mean, that's why I have them. But yeah, it's interesting. The With everything that's going on, it is amazing to me that more and more people are not like flipping out. You look at, I want you to think about this right now. Again, what's going on around the world? Just look what happened in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka said, we've had enough and we're done. And they were done. You're going to continue to see that more and more and more again. The last time, 2 years ago, when the same things were happening, what was the result of that? If you remember, who remembers what happened 2 years ago that all of a sudden everybody had to be controlled and told what to do, and you couldn't go out and you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that unless, of course, you were a protester and you were burning and looting. Then it was perfectly fine. You were perfectly safe to do that, right? It's just Do I think that there's a possibility? Do I think there's a possibility that we could have the same type of situation in Sri Lanka happen here? So somebody's actually just asking me that. Um, I think that that absolutely could happen here. I think when people have had enough, everybody has, I'm telling you, everybody here, everybody watching has a breaking point. What's your breaking point? Realistically, what is your breaking point? When is enough enough? When do you say, I'm not putting up with this crap no more? And that's what you got to think about. That's what has to be thought about. So, uh, you know, your opinion on supply chain if the railroad workers strike. Thanks. Angry introvert. I talked about that in a video the other day. If the railroad workers strike, now somebody had said, I had somebody that actually worked for the railroad made this comment, and they're probably right. A judge would tell them they have to go back to work, but if they just told the judge to go screw himself, what could the judge do about it, right? It is. I agree, Ed, because it's so hard to organize people here. If you got enough people starving, Jen Boyles, and enough people that don't have money to pay for anything, we're going to get more into this in a second. I'm going to talk about this more in a second. I want to talk about the railroad thing here for a second as well. If the railroad workers do strike, and even if a judge says you have to go back to work and they say no and they continue to strike, that's really going to hurt an already fragile system that is hurting already. So that's where I think you're going to see, regardless of what a judge says or doesn't say, if people have had enough, you got to understand something about the railroad guys, all right? And the person that made this comment, I wish I could remember what his name was, but it was a great comment. And they're a former railroad worker. Said management, again, what a shock. I know it's shocking to you guys. It was shocking to me. Management don't give a crap about workers. They treat the workers like crap. So you have had a lot of rail workers that have had a ton of experience. They'll quit. They got off. They got out of there. They're not doing it anymore. The new people that they're hiring are not staying. Long hours, underpaid, benefits suck. People are getting really, really tired of giving, and getting nothing back. And big businesses just absolutely making a fortune off the backs of everybody else. People are getting tired of that. And so, do I believe that what happened in Sri Lanka could happen here? I do believe that it could happen here. Now, it'll take a lot for that to happen here. It'll take a lot. But I think we're on that path. I mean, it's take. Yeah, the railroad workers have been working without a contract for over a year. Yep, Sonia Klein just said that. Yep. And so at some point, you have to say no more. And when enough people, folks, say no more, you look what last year. All right, and I want you to think about this. And I know I'm going to use Canada as an example. You look what happened up in Canada last year with the protest up there. Now, I want you to remember this. Those were non-violent protests. Non-violent protests. So what did Trudeau do? He enacted a law about insurrection. They towed all the trucks out of there. They left the windows open so that things would be destroyed on the inside. It was all done on purpose. They froze bank accounts of people that were protesting. I mean, how do you do that to your own people that are not violently protesting? Here's the difference, and I'm going to tell you right now. And this, you can go with it or you can not go with it. You can think whatever you want to think. In the United States of America, we are not like Canada. And I love Canada. I think Canada's awesome. But they're more of a peaceful people in Canada. We are not here in the United States. We are not a peaceful people. We really aren't. Look at what we do to each other every single day. All right. And I'm going to tell you what, going back to January 6th, and they make it like it's some kind of, big monstrous takeover. If January 6th had been a takeover, folks, it would have happened, and there would have been nothing that the idiots in government could have done about it. But it really wasn't. I mean, did people make poor decisions and do stupid things? Absolutely, they did. They did very bad decisions. And so what ends up happening by that, now they're being punished harshly as an example for the rest of us, right, to stay in line and not get out of line. But the next time, if there is a next time, it may not be going to peacefully protest. It could possibly be that people said, we're going and we're taking over. And so, I'm not an advocate for that. I don't want you to think that I'm advocating something like that at all. I'm not, because I think that that would be a really bloody, bad situation, and it would be Americans killing Americans, and I don't want to see that happen. But I will tell you this again: everybody has a breaking point. Everybody. There's only so much that you can take. And just so you know, I will never abdicate violence. I don't think violence is always the answer. I think there's other ways to be able to resolve issues. But look what happened in Sri Lanka, folks. Look what's happening around the world. And at some point coming up, and I believe within probably less than a year, probably less than 6 months, and this is, again, strictly my opinion, China will make its move on Taiwan. And people are going to be watching. And what we decide to do in that situation will definitely dictate how things go forward. Okay. And again, I mean, do we allow that? We have said that we've had Taiwan's back. Biden actually came out and said it. We would defend Taiwan until his handlers came out and said, no, no, he misspoke. He didn't mean that. Right. So, Ace, that's funny, Ace. I like that. He said, distract me. He's going in for the Cheez Its. But I don't like where I see things going. I will be honest with you. I don't want to see violence. I don't want to see people getting hurt. Uh, do I see that coming? It would not surprise me in the least, because again, each one of us has a breaking point. Each one of us has a point where we say, you know what, I'm not taking anymore. That's it. No more. I'm done. And then they're going to do something about it. And it could be, you look at, okay, so you look at right now in over in Asia, okay? You look at China and there's a lot of runs on the banks over there. There was a lot of protest about that. And what did the Chinese government do? Now, you probably didn't hear a whole lot about it because, of course, it's stomped down, and heaven forbid that this administration says anything bad about China at all. They don't say anything about, yeah, we will do nothing about Taiwan. You know what, John D? I almost guarantee, I almost agree with you on that. I do. Hey, Pam in Wonderland. In Sri Lanka, they spread poo on their White House. In the U.S., poo was on the White House. Yeah. Well, they had enough. They had enough over there, and they did something about it. Thank you very much for the donation, and thank you very much for the statement as well. Uh, but I'm going to tell you what, I don't see things going well if poor people, and I mean really poor people in this country, really start to suffer, where there's not the food available, there's not the stuff available for them. That's when you're going to start seeing riots. And it'll make what happened in Portland and other places look like a picnic, because people can only take so much. That's it. They can only take so much. And if they feel that they've been done wrong, or they're not being treated well, they're going to do something. And, they will attack who they feel is responsible. You look at it, happens all the time. It happens all the time. Um, you know, the violence. Let's look at this right now for another. I have like so many examples. I could just keep going and going and going. Look at the violence is going on in New York City right now. The violence that is happening. You are having police officers quitting left, right, and center, walking away. They're like, had enough, not doing it anymore, because the powers that be are doing the bail reform, which means they're not putting people in jail. Murderers, maybe. Murderers are going to jail, but everybody else, it's catch and release. So, they give them a court date and say, you got to be back in court on this day. What is that? When you have somebody that, has done like an assault or something like that. I think the one thing that I talked about, and it was more upstate New York, and a guy had done property damage. He had done some other stuff. Hey, Troy, thank you very much for the donation, man. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. He says, #1 fan. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for that donation. Um, but you had, he had threatened not only the people that he was mad at, he also threatened the police. And so what happened? What happened? Well, they let him go, of course, released his own recognizances. So I'm like, I don't get that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's almost as though they want these criminals to realize that they can basically do whatever they want to do. They can get away with whatever they want to get away with, and nobody's going to do anything about it. And they're not. And so, you are having people just going, I've had enough. I'll give you an example of something. And, um, I talked with Angry Prepper the other day, and his thing for the police department didn't work out for him down because they saw his YouTube channel and they didn't like what he had said on his YouTube channel. And so, it was, but that's the atmosphere we live in now. Okay. If you don't fit the mold that they want with political correctness and, all that type of stuff, and if you have an opinion, right? If you have an opinion that doesn't agree with their opinion, you're out. And he had passed everything else was fine. But because once they looked at his social media and holy crap, wait a minute, he's a conservative individual, he was gone. He did not make the cut. And so, and I always look at those type of things. I look at those type of things is, again, everything happens for a reason. So because that door closed, there'll be other opportunities for Angry Prepper to do other things. But they just want people to do as they're told, not cause any waves. And it's weird. I'm going to tell you what. Like I said, I've been in nursing for a very, very long time. Um, Worked all over the place. I've done a little. I've worked everything from pediatrics to geriatrics. I've done hospice. I've worked on dialysis units. I mean, I've done it all. I mean, I've done a lot of different. That's the beauty of nursing. You can go anywhere. You can do a whole bunch of different things. But they don't want somebody that has their own mind. They don't want somebody that questions whatever narrative that they're putting out. And I'm talking management wise. They don't want that. They don't want free thinkers. They don't want people to go, well, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. They don't want that. They just want you to go, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I'll do whatever you say. Absolutely have a wonderful day without question. That's what they want. And that's not just in nursing, guys. That's in every aspect of everything. So anybody that doesn't fit in their comfortable little box, they're going to get rid of, So yeah, they want drones. Exactly. So New York is going to live in its own cesspool for doing all this. Oh, I agree with you, Ace, 100%. It's getting worse and worse. People are getting worse and worse, and it's just not, you know, it's just not. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. And I sit here and I watch. Um, it blows me away. So one thing I want to address. So somebody had asked me, now that I have both properties and I'm not selling the New York property for now, they said when SHTF happens, because I still believe it'll be a matter of when, not if. So, but when it happens, what's my game plan? What am I going to do? Where am I going to be? And I will tell you, my game plan is to be here in West Virginia. I plan on having my family up in New York to get their butts down here, just like the members of my group. I have people counting on me to be here for stability, for with what we're doing here. Why would I not be here? Why would I abandon my group members and say, "Oh, screw you, I'm going to New York"? All right, that's not going to be the case. Um, the question is going to be, how long is it going to take them to get here? And so that's going to be the game plan. They're going to take whatever that they can get, they're going to bring it down here, and here's where we're going to be. So that's the game plan. That's how it's going to go. And we're just going to do. I'm telling you right now, where I'm at here in West Virginia is an absolutely awesome location. I have good neighbors. And Ed, have you thought about building a woodshed? There's a lot that has to be done. Right now, it's affordability issues with everything right now. So, it's a matter of I'm just doing what I can do, and so I'm working on projects that I can work on, that what I have available to do, and I'm going to just do that for right now. I have not got the rain catchment system set up yet, but I will get that done. There's a couple things that I got to pick up before I can finish that, so I have to go back to Lowe's once again. So that's going to be something that's going to be taken care of, but. And I think I'll do a video on that when I get to that point, and get that squared away. But there's the money only goes so far, and with not selling the property in New York, I have two places that I have to maintain. So it is what it is, and so I will do what I have to do, and I'm just gonna you know like I said, when things go sideways, I will probably they'll know that they need to get here, and that's what it'll be. Get here as soon as you possibly can. No screwing around. Game's over. Let's go. And that's going to be it. So in the meantime, with whatever time we have left, I will continue to take care of things here in West Virginia. I will continue to try to make it better for here. So does West Virginia have unrestricted land? Can't find any. They do. They absolutely do. Depends on what county you go into, how far out you are, and those type of things. So, yep. But you know, if it's that sideways, money or taxes won't matter. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It always kills me when people say, "Well, if something goes really, really bad, aren't you worried about?" Like a lot of people, I would be worried they're going to foreclose on me and kick me out of my house. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not going to come and kick you out of your house. Now, in the meantime, we have had massive, massive foreclosures, massive evictions, which you're not seeing in the news. Let me ask you this: How many guys are seeing? Um, how many of you guys are seeing in the news about all the foreclosures and all the people being evicted from their apartments because they didn't pay over that whole time period? Because that's another freaking gem of the government, that they allowed people to stay in properties that they weren't paying for. So, and I'm talking about tenants, not people that own property. And do you have a priority list of what you want to do with your West Virginia property? Yes, Donna, I do. Yep. Not so much, Ed. I do not watch the mainstream media news. Yeah, well, you're not hearing anything because they're not talking about it. But I'm going to tell you what, behind the scenes, people are being foreclosed on. You are having people are finally being evicted, and that haven't paid rent in like 2 years. My sister, Margie, she lives in an assisted living building. Not assisted living. I'm sorry, building. So she's up in Greece, New York, and so she lives in that building. And she was telling me, because of course we talk. She was telling me that they're evicting a whole bunch of people out of that building because, again, why? Because they didn't pay for the year and a half, 2 years, whatever the time was. They didn't pay anything, so now they're getting kicked out. Where are all those people going? That would be a question that I have. Since people's opinions are different, who decides when SHTF is time to come? That's a good point, Pam. I think SHTF for everybody is different. Depends on your own personal experiences. Thank you very much for the question, and thank you very much for the donation as well. Yeah, everybody's SHTF event is absolutely different. I mean, SHTF doesn't have to be the end of the world as we know it. I've talked about that too. It could be something that affects you directly. Like here, I'll give you a great example, and I'm going to use myself as an example. Okay, if something happened to me and I died, I'm like the I'm the one that takes care of things in the family. I'm the one that people turn to if they need help and that type of stuff. So what do they do then? You know, I mean, my daughter's only 20 years old. She's not going to be 21 until October. So, she's still young, and there's a lot of responsibility. If I die, that it all falls on her because, she's the one that's going to be calling the shots. So, those are things that, you have to think about because you never know. So if the breadwinner, the person that's making the money for the family, if something happens to them, that's an SHTF event for that family. So the last bit of prepping, I'd stocking up on gasoline and propane tanks, also getting a hand pump for our well. Nothing wrong with that, Dawn. That's actually very, very smart. Um, very, very smart. Get that propane stocked up. Get the gas stocked up. Absolutely do that. Yeah, Becky would be there to guide her, Mary. Yeah, she would. She would rely heavily on Becky. Yep. So, you know, it's important for our family members to step up now and learn what to do. I agree 100%. I mean, it's like within New York, with me being gone most of the time now, they've had to figure it out. So, but I've been teaching them, different things, the ins and outs and what to do and stuff like that. Moderators are here. So, what is the SHTF for your group's plan? Um, for my group, basically, right now we have for group members we have a group text that we to communicate. But let's say communications are down. What you have to so here's my rule of thumb, and this is what I tell the people in my group, and I'll give you an example. Okay, things are going sideways, things are getting worse and worse and worse. If you make that decision to bug out, to get out of Dodge, do it. Get down here. And if it's a false alarm, then you use that as a testing experience. What worked? What didn't work? What did I learn? What did I didn't learn? What did I forget? What would I do different next time? And if that means they come down here and they hang out for a week, and then they go, okay, well things aren't going as bad as I thought. I'm going to head back home. No problem. What you got to understand, somebody had asked me, they were like, I thought nobody was staying at your property. Nobody's living at my property, right? But when SHTF happens, folks, when SHTF happens, this is where they're all coming to. And we're all living here and we're all working together because there's no rule of law at that point. We have to watch out for each other. We need to have each other's backs. That's important. And that's what should be going on. That's what should be happening. So, when they feel wherever they're at, if things are going sideways, then you do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So I think you would need a fluid definition of SHTF, but with stipulations. Well, again, it's not. It wouldn't be a personal SHTF. They wouldn't come here if it was a personal SHTF. If things went sideways in this country, that's when everybody comes. Whatever happens in their personal life with them, that is not nothing to do with the group or whatever like that. But we're going to try to watch out for each other. That's part of the game plan, but you just never know. So real quick, I want to talk about a couple things really quickly, and then we'll continue on. Diloma, the immune system defense, it is a dietary supplement. It boosts the immune system. 8-in-1 immune support. Vitamin C, echinacea, turmeric. All right, Turmeric. Turmeric. I don't know how you say it right, but zinc, vitamin D3, elderberry, ginger, and garlic. Okay. JJ just threw the link up for them. You can save 10% on a purchase of the immune boost system if you go to their website with my link. JJ just threw it up there. It's also going to be down in the description as well. Turmeric. Yeah, that's what I've been saying, turmeric. And then people were whatever. So I was right when I said, all right. So, but anyway, USA company based out of Texas, good company. All their supplies come from the US. Nothing is shipped from overseas. Okay. So anyway, that's 2 a day, 60 tablets in a bottle. So definitely something that you should have as part of your preps. because your immune system is really important. So definitely take advantage of that. Preparable said I placed an order the other day. Good, man. I'm glad to hear that. Very good. It's a good thing to have, guys. We're not going to be eating like we eat now. There's not going to be any more runs to the store. Okay. I call it somebody's laughing because I call it Termac. Whatever it is, you guys you get the point. You know what I'm talking about. So, but but again, you know you're going to need your immune system working properly. I think it's a good thing I take. I've been taking it. It's 2 a day, 60 tablets in there, so 30-day supply. You can save 10% by using my discount code. You can save another 10% if you decide to sign up and do it monthly. So, uh, Ed, do you have your gray water tank filled in the trailer? No, no, JJ, it's not. Nope. Turmeric? Did I say it right now? Turmeric. Is that right? God, I hate spelling. I just turmeric. Okay, well there we go. And you know what? I'll probably say it wrong the next time. So bear with me. But I will try to remember. Todd Parker, what's the code? JJ, would you throw that code up there again, please, for the link for that? Anyway, so also my website, preppernurse1.com, we have the Prepper Nurse One community resource that we set up for you guys to be able to connect with like-minded people. Um, it is free to join. You do have to register, but no credit card information is asked. Okay. Also, go in, check out the message boards, look for people in your state or your country. That's why it's set up for you guys. It's for you to connect with people like yourselves. So, also, we have the brain dead. Hold on. I got to reset. That was what that was. I was resetting. We also have the Forefathers, which is, again, if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, you'll see the Forefathers logo. You click on that, it will take you to their website. Um, if you decide to make a CBD or hemp purchase, you can save 15% by using the discount code Prepper Nurse One. It will save you 15% over on their website. Also, we have the Legacy Freeze Dried Food. So, again, preppernurse1.com. Go in, click on store. It'll drop down. You'll see Legacy Foods. You click on that, it will take you to the store within the website. 25-year shelf life, GMO free, gluten options available. It is the largest portion size of any of the other freeze dried food companies. It is also vegetarian. And yeah, look at the teleprompter. Yeah, right. There's no teleprompter. Um, but there's again, it's also beef and chicken can be purchased separately. So definitely take advantage of that. It's a good thing to have in your long-term preps. You should be diversified. I think that's a good thing. So no, summer sale's already over, JJ. That sale's over. So no more discount code. So all right, egg count time. And I know we're past the normal egg count time, but yes, we're gonna do egg count. So yes or no for thick neck. And I'm gonna look at this one more time and see what Heather said. Okay. Did I not kill the volume? I did not. Um, so what is the egg count? And yes or no for thick neck today? Give you guys a moment to get your guesses up there, and we will go from there. Let's see what we got here. Give you guys a moment here. Nobody's getting it right. That's why I keep looking. Okay, there we go. Whoo, we finally got somebody. Timothy Larrett saves the day. I kept waiting. I'm like, come on, somebody's got to have the right answer. 4 eggs today, and yes for thick neck. Only 4 eggs. So I kept looking. Everybody's like guessing high. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. So yes, if you had the same guess as Timothy, which you did not, none of you did. So only Timothy is the winner today. The only one. Winner, winner, chicken dinner for Timothy. And congratulations, Timothy. You won absolutely nothing. So, oh my God, too funny. But yeah, it's just sometimes when it's too hot, they don't. It's weird. It's too cold, they don't like to lay. It's too hot, they don't like to lay. Freaking chickens. So, slackers. Yep, exactly. But Thickneck's been on a roll. She's laid 4 of the last 5 days. So, can't complain about her. She's doing her job. So, oh, how funny. I'm like going, man, somebody's got to get this right. Okay, guys, hold on. You got to give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. I'll have to explain what happened. So, I think everybody gets hangnails. So I had a hangnail, and I've been playing with it for the last hour, and I'm like, this is driving me nuts. I got to get rid of this hangnail. So it's a little OCD thing going on. So what do we got? 512 in the chat. We're at 311 on the thumbs up. If you have as well, so thank you ahead of time for that. Um, and I think this is an important prep that a lot of people think about. So let me go grab it real quick, and I'm going to show you. Because somebody had mentioned this in a comment, and I said, well, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to show this in the chat, and so that people can understand. Very important prep I think that we should all have. Wind up clock. No batteries. Just wind it up. Get your right time on there. You can set the alarm clock on there, the whole 9 yards. I think it's a great thing to have as far as prepping goes, because again, there's no batteries involved. You wind it up and it works. So, obviously you got to remember to wind it every day. And so but I think those are the type of things. There used to be watches that were wind up watches as well. And I think those are a good thing to have as well. But yeah, an EMP is not going to touch this because there's no electronics with it. So wind up clock, I think, is I'm going to stick that right there for the rest of the stream. But I think those are a huge things that we should have. And I don't think, and again, somebody had said that in a comment. They were like, something that nobody talks about. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. People don't talk about that, because when it all goes to crap, how do you know what time it is? Everything's fried, right? So build a shadow clock on the enormous yard. Yeah, there's another way as well. But yeah, some of the old ways are not a bad thing. Yeah, you could do a sundial, you know what I mean? But you can't tell. Yeah, right. But if you have a sundial, you don't know on a cloudy day. You don't know at nighttime what time it is. So be like the old timers. When it gets dark, you go to bed. When the sun comes up, you get up. So, but you can do the time by the sun with your fingers and all that type of stuff. There's things that you can do that way as well. But I think having a wind up clock is actually, and they're not like, it's not super expensive. So no, most things are battery operated, to be honest with you, or you plug them in. So can't sleep because of the ticking. That never bothered me. No. So, or actually, is that on the right time? Let's see. That's right, 5 to 9. So I was looking at it, I'm like, what? It just looks weird. It looks like it's after 9 there, but it's not. But anyway, just something to think about. I love the old-fashioned grandfather clocks. Those were really cool. Those are absolutely really cool. What are your thoughts on the New York nuclear attack preparedness? I actually did a video on that, but I actually spoke with Jason about that as well. And he was saying that and just kind of going over with the conversation that him and I had. He said he thinks that they're talking about a dirty bomb and not a nuclear attack. He said if there was a nuclear attack, and it was downtown in the business district, he said where he's at in the Bronx, they might be somewhat okay because of the massive build, that would basically block a lot of the shock of it and stuff like that. But he also did say if they did an airburst, he goes, then we're all screwed. So, what do you think that they would do? I think they would do an airburst. Have you thought about a live stream about items that are EMP safe? Um, I hadn't really thought about that. So I had to take the batteries out of one of my clocks because the ticking was driving me nuts. Well, I'm going to tell you what I sleep with a fan on anyway, so I just the white noise from the fan, it drowns it out. And actually, even when before I had the fan down here, um, you know, a parody. Oh my God, that would be funny. I could ask him. I could ask him. Yeah, but if they did an air, in the most likely scenario, because of New York City, the way it is set up and stuff, they would do an airburst because you would want maximum casualties. So that's that is something. Is a shipping container EMP proof? A shipping container is sealed, which would be absolutely good. You just don't want anything touching the metal walls of the shipping container. So that's a big part of it. But yeah, no, like the ticking, you just end up it's just like people that live near railroad tracks, folks. When what's an airburst? It's when they bring the nuclear detonation down and it doesn't go off when it hits the ground. It goes off like a half mile above the city. That's an airburst, or a mile above the city for maximum effect. And pretty much everybody's screwed. The reality is this, and this is what I talked about in the video that I did about it. If you are dealing with a nuclear attack in New York City, okay, you're probably screwed if you live in New York City. Because if the bomb doesn't kill you, there will be a ton of radiation. Radiation poisoning may take longer, but that will kill you. So, have family 60 miles north of New York City, would they be affected? Probably not. Probably not. Because if they're north of New York City, the prevailing winds generally go from west to east. So the radiation and stuff would be pushed out to sea. But it would not be a great area to be in that close to the city. So they should definitely have alternative plans if something like that were to happen in New York City, of other places, either to go inland more or higher, one of the two. So yeah, just look at what the atomic bombs did. Yeah, and the bombs that we have now are much stronger than what was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So what we have now is way, way better, more advanced. I thought they had a 100-mile radius. No, nuclear bomb is not a 100-mile radius. No. So it would be devastation for quite a while, quite a distance. And again, with the radiation afterwards, it would even be worse because you're not going to want to go in and try to help people because of the radiation. It would just be it would be a very bad situation, a very bad day for people. So who's off grid out there besides myself since 1999? Chime in, please. Give perspective to the room. Yeah, well, obviously, Solar Independence. I'm off grid as well, both locations, New York and down here. And I love it too when people say that. Well, you're not off grid. You're not off grid because you're still connected to the system. My power is generated by me, not by anybody else. I'm not reliant on the system. I have a well in New York, so I get my water from a well. So if the system goes down, I'm still going to have water. That's the reality. And like I said, if it's an EMP, I don't think you're going to see an EMP. What most likely in New York City, let's be realistic. If Russia or somebody else was going to do something like that, it would be bad for everybody. Nobody would win because we would retaliate on them. Their cities would be devastated. Our cities would be devastated. The nuclear reactors would be melting down. It would just, the whole thing would be horrible. More than likely, the reality would be a dirty bomb. Some terrorist group or some people that hated the United States so bad decided to go in and do something. That's what they would do. That's what they would do. They would do some kind of bombing like that. If there was an organized group, they would probably hit several locations. So that's how that would go down. And so people need to remember that. That's definitely something that yeah, mutually assured annihilation, exactly. So you're not. I really don't think you're going to see, um, you know, us bombing Russia or Russia bombing us with nukes or China, uh, because nobody wins. Absolutely nobody wins. So it would. I think you're gonna. What's going on right now. What is happening right now around the world. I think is more of the likely case. It's a slow degradation and fall and governments trying to enact more and more laws to control the people, the populace. I want you to think about this, right? Now the whole passport crap, and that's kind of gotten silent now. That they're not really talking about that anymore. And but that's something that it can control you. It lets you go where they say that you can go, and I think that's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, what we're gonna do now, because it is that time, if I can find, there it is. All right, it is shout out time. So we're gonna get on that. All right. So first of all, I want to do what we're going to do. Icky Can first, who is up in Canada, is a really good guy. I would ask you to go and support him. He's been living off grid himself for quite a while now. You have Angry Prepper down in New York City. Jason is awesome. You have Alaskan Prepper also. Uh, and Rudy's a good guy too. You have Alaskan Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and myself, Reliance. Two very good channels. Same guy, but a lot of good information, and I think we should be supporting him as well. Also, we have North Shore Preparedness up in Canada as well. There's Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen, 80K Man, Bizariza Jizza. There is also Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota, Cody with Wrangle Star, the Red Poppy Ranch. There's Survival Lily, Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra. I like them. They're a nice young couple. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband and wife, two different channels, but I really like what they're doing, and I think that they're good people. Oh my God, she just did a video, guys, the other day. I was watching her video, and she was putting hinges on her shed or her like building so that she could like open it and close it. And she was trying to close it, but she still had the rope tied off. Hilarious, because she was like super frustrated trying to figure it out. It was very, very funny. But and then she was like, calling herself an idiot when she figured it out. But like I said, they're both very, very good people. You have Green Greg's, Southern Prepper 1, Gray Man Prepping, St. Bernard Acres with Joe. There's Doug and Stacy, the Nomadic Movement down in Panama, the Green Dream Project out in Arizona. You have Camping with Steve Wallace up in Canada. He's a fun guy, like what he does. You have Monkey Works, the Needy Homesteader, Boss of the Swamp, Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Love Diamond. I think he's amazing. Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. You have City Prepper, Lumina Acres, Suspicious Observer, Bear Independent, The Uneducated Economist. You have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands in La Palma. Mary Greeley News, giving you all the latest updates with Yellowstone and all the earthquakes that are going around. You have Adapt 2030, Ice Age Farmer. Ryan Hall, y'all, with the weather. Love Ryan Hall, y'all. I think he's awesome. Russell Brand, a lot of good information with Russell Brand as well. I think he's amazing. Deep South Homestead. You have The Outsider, The Fit Farmer. You have Prepper Princess, Simple Life Reclaimed, Townsend's, The Prepared Mind, Pinball Preparedness. There is East Tennessee Preparedness, The Economic Ninja, and Little House Off Gritty. So those are our shout outs for today. And we'll put that there. So, all right. But a lot of good channels out there, a lot of good information. I think that we should all be supporting each other. I think that that's important. And so that's why I like to do the shout outs. And so if you find one of those channels that you like and you like watching them, let them know. Prepper Nurse 1 sent me over, you know. So, oh yes, and Heather's Etsy store. Let's not forget about Heather's Etsy store. Heather is doing jewelry. She's also making hats. So she does hats for humans, cats, dogs, whatever you need them to be done for. She also does scarves and all that type of stuff as well. So she really, she enjoys doing that. So if you would like to support her, I always forget Heather. I know I do. I'm sorry. You guys remind me, and then I talk about it, which is good. So if JJ, would you throw the link up there for Heather, please? I would appreciate that. But that's her thing, and that's what she enjoys doing. And so if you would like to support her, I would appreciate that, and thank you ahead of time. So is Heather setting up a bug out camp in West Virginia? Things go sideways. Heather will obviously be with me down here, and we will be eventually building her own home down here as well. Because at some point, I do plan on getting rid of the New York property. That is definitely a game plan, longer term. Right now, we got to get through the next 6, 8 months and see what happens with the world. And no, Heather's not driving yet, but it's by her choice, her choice. So, but anyway, guys, I want to continue to strongly encourage you guys to prep, continue to get ready. Do not be victims. It is important. There is a lot of crap going on, and I think that we need to just continue to take care of our business, control what we can control, and like I said, don't be victims. Don't be victims. What was that? I suck at trying to get my channel up video wise. I hope I have a lot to share, but I'm not a great on camera. It just, you just got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? That's you just get out there and you put it out there. If people like you, they like you. If they don't like you, they'll tell you. They will tell you. So, but Ed, you rock, and so does your channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I just try to be honest, try to share my life, try to share, my thoughts on different things, and showing people that this is a lifestyle that is absolutely doable, that you can do it if you put in the work and the effort. Nothing is for free. It takes a lot of sweat equity, a lot of blood. I've spilled blood down here already. So, those things happen as part of it, but the more that you do, the more that you learn what works, what doesn't work. And so if I can share with you guys, you know, what works and what doesn't work, it saves you that headache of having to go through that and deal with that yourselves. And I think that that's important. So I try to always be, try to share that information with you. So like, hey, look at, I screwed up, and that happens. Most guys couldn't do what Ed does. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Well, and you know what it is? It's not because they couldn't, is because they won't. It's not because they couldn't do it. They could do it if they tried, but we have so many people that are, and I hate, they're lazy. They're lazy. They want everything for nothing. They don't want to have to work for anything. In living this lifestyle, it takes work. It's not easy. It really isn't. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, I mean, you've seen the struggles that we've gone through. It has not been an easy, nice cakewalk of a ride, and it's still not. But you know what? I would never want to live any other way. I love the fact that I'm power independent, that I have my own system, that I am not tied to the grid, that I am not a slave to the system in that aspect. Am I a slave to the system in other ways? We all are. You know what I mean? We all are. But that's some semblance of freedom. In New York, I have my own well on the property in New York, so I'm not getting town water or anything like that. So that's awesome as well, and I like that as well. So there's a lot of aspects of it that are important, and get whatever freedom that you can get. And even if you don't want to do a whole house system and stuff like that, get a small system. Give you something. You know what I mean? Gives you something where when things go sideways or there's a power outage, there will be power outages. We all know that. I mean, it's not like that's anything new or a surprise. So power outages are going to happen. But if we are working at things and have some kind of a backup system, it's going to give you an advantage. Always do whatever is going to give you an advantage. I think that that's important. I really do. So, all right. So it is that time now to do We Are Legion. So we are Legion. We are many. We are all over the world. We're all over the country. Where is everybody from tonight? So where is everybody from tonight? We have Nebraska's in the house, Franklin County, Ohio, Nowhere, Oklahoma, still my favorite name, Dayton, Ohio, North Carolina, Waterloo, New York, Bumstead, Florida, New York City, Ohio, Texas, Maine, Frankfort, Illinois, Connecticut, Inverness, Florida with Clyde, BC, Canada, Ulster Park, New York, Richmond, Virginia, Fort Worth, Texas, Kentucky, Alliance, Ohio, North Carolina, Las Vegas, East Central Illinois, Aaron, Texas. We have Worcester, Mass, Verone, BC, Canada, Hawaii's in the house, coastal North Carolina, somewhere in Georgia, central Iowa, I like that, Tucson, Arizona, central Texas, the Pennsylvania Wilds, central Texas, central Arizona, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania, Newfoundland is in the house, Quebec, Canada, St. Augustine, Florida, Northern California, Elmont, Tennessee, Pineland, South Carolina, Nebraska, Michigan, uh, let's see, Jacksonville, Florida, Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Prosper, Texas, Gatlin, Pennsylvania, East Tennessee, East Texas, Erin, Tennessee. I think I said Erin, Texas before. Vancouver Island in Canada, very nice, with Preparable. Uh, Back in Georgia now, Prepping Survival, Campbell, Missouri, Western New York. We have Troy, North Carolina. So, hey, girlie, you want to come up? Come on. Come up and say hi to everybody. I think we might have a pregnant dog here, folks. I think we might have a pregnant girl. Yes. She has been much, much calmer since Sunday. So when she went off with her boyfriend, her boy toy, did you run away with your boy toy? Yeah, see, she knows. Naughty. Were you naughty? Were you a naughty girl? Yes, I know. You were, but that's all right. She's such a baby. She really is. So, yep. So I think we might be having some puppies. Yep. I think they'd be beautiful puppies too. So we'll let everybody know. So, and she, believe it or not, I mean, she is very protective. I know you are. I'm saying good things about you. Yes. All right. Come on. Down you go. But yeah, I'm looking. If she has puppies, that's cool. If she's not pregnant, that's cool too. Whatever. So, I think she'll be a good mama though. She's a good dog. So we'll know in about. I think it's 3 months. I'll have to look it up. I don't even know. Um, her pups will be awesome. Especially like the father. He's a good looking dog, and he's still a puppy, realistically. So, yeah, you don't know. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, yeah, 3 months. Okay, that's what I thought. So she starts looking like she's fat, then I'll know she's pregnant. So we will see what happens. But yeah, when she took off there on Sunday, Actually, I talked to my neighbor, and he said he saw her down with his dog down, and so we'll see. But I think they're gonna get their guy fixed. So just check your teats. Okay. 9 weeks gestation for dogs. Okay. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. So we will see. We'll see with the dog. I can say she's gonna get fat. Now, when you are with a woman and she is pregnant and she is huge because she's pregnant, you cannot tell her she is fat because then you will have your head ripped off of your shoulders. I can remember. I can remember. Oh my God, brings back memories. So here's my ex Amy sitting on the couch. I mean, just she's got twins, right? So she's a little bitty woman with this huge belly. Her feet were swelled up like Fred Flintstone feet, right? Fred, I mean, just she was. It was horrible for her. It was absolutely horrible, and I will never forget. She's sitting on a couch and she says to me, "I'm so fat." And the only thing I thought that I could think to say at the time, because I didn't want to say, "Yeah, you're huge, you're enormous," I said, "Well, honey," I go, "you're pregnant." you know, um, what do you say? What do you say? So, but yeah, that was interesting. God, her stomach, her stomach was literally like translucent. You know, translucent. It was just a lot of baby. Well, she had over 10 pounds worth of babies. The babies were both over 5 pounds at birth. So, but yep. So you say you look beautiful, babe. Yeah, well, she didn't. Sharon, she didn't. I was trying not to, I'm trying not to say the wrong thing because that emotional with the hormones and the roller coaster. Oh my God. So yeah, those were good times. Those were good times back then. And then when the babies were born, oh my God, it was just to this day, it's one of the most beautiful days to be able to be in the delivery room and to cut the cords for both Eddie and Heather, you know, and I fell in love with both of them instantly. I used to talk to them when they were in the womb. So yeah, so just things you think back on. All right, so anyway, look at me getting all nostalgic now, but I know what that feels like having a daughter at 11 4. Wow. Now I'll tell you, I was 10 pounds 2 ounces when I was born. Or no, I'm sorry, 9 pounds 2 ounces. So for my mom, who was a tiny woman, at the time, that was a lot of baby. I was back. That's still when they use forceps to try to grab a hold of the baby's head and pull the baby out. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's why I am the way I am. So I was being abused right from day one. They don't use those anymore because it caused a lot of brain damage on kids. But yeah, so a YouTuber named No White Guild is still watching the stream right now. So what's wrong with having a name called No White Guilt? Why should white people feel guilty about anything? Especially ones that are born now. Like, I mean, since I've been anybody born from the time I was born and on, even before then, why should we have any guilt at all? We shouldn't. I haven't done anything to, like to oppress people. So I get so tired of that. I will be honest with you. It's one of the things I honestly cannot stand the victim mentality. Get a pair, grow up. You are the captain of your own destiny, the captain of your own ship, and that's it. It's up to you. You can't blame somebody else all the time for your failures because you didn't put the effort in to be successful. You look at all the people out there that are successful, realistically, a lot of them, not people that were born into money like Paris Hilton or those type of people. You look at people that came up from their bootstraps and made successful companies and done very well. They worked hard, not because they were white or anything else. It was because they worked hard. And there's a lot of people of all colors that have done that. So, yeah, I get really tired of the victim mentality. That's just me. So, anyway, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. You guys are amazing. So, thank you for what you do. I want to thank all of you guys for being here as well. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy these chats and we have a good time with it. So I want to thank you for all that as well. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we could ever figure that one out, we could do so much. We could accomplish so much good. Sharon, the egg count was 4 eggs and yes for thick neck. And so remember, they're dividing us with race, religion, political affiliation, the vax, the unvax. These are all tools that are used to keep us down, to keep us fighting amongst each other while they just get richer. We need to focus on the real problem, which is big business and the government. So, if we could ever do that and come together, boy, they would be shaking in their boots. I can tell you that right now. So, anyway, also remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. Tomorrow, we never know. So it's important to tell the people that you care about every day how you feel. What? Also remember STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that can stop you from reaching your goal is you. That's it, nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right? I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. I have a good day. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.